Yeah, I do believe the environment I live in has shaped the way I present myself now. So I live in a predominantly white area. So growing up, I'd always be surrounded by all of my white friends, and I only had like my best friend still to this day, which is mixed. So she was Jamaican and white. So I feel like if I didn't have her and I was only surrounded by my white friends, then I'd to this day be very much whitewashed, because growing up I didn't really have the strong influence of Jamaican culture put upon me, because my dad always worked till like late, like almost every single day. So I saw him very little growing up, to be honest. Although he lived with me, he just worked so much. And my grandma would raise me, like basically like raised me in terms of like picking me up from school, taking me home, cooking for me, and then spending time with me at home until my mum and dad would just return home from work at like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you know, and by that time I'd be sleeping, so I'd only see them on the weekends. But yeah, I feel like if I didn't have that small group of black friends at school and I just had my white friends, I'd be very much whitewashed right now, and I'd know very little about my culture and my background and my black ethnicity. I believe that the people you surround yourself with and what they influence on you, especially when you're very young, still growing up, still learning, I feel like they have a big role and part to play. And especially since all of my black family live in London, and I live like way outside, well not way outside, but I live outside of London, so it take at least an hour to go see them. And then when I saw them, it was like a whole new world, because I was never used to it. So I was so used to going around to my white friend's house and like seeing how they live and seeing the food that they cook with, the music that they listen to, everything was very much opposite. So it was like a whole new world. So I feel like it was very important for me to go see my Jamaican family in London as well, just to see like who I actually am, because I'm not just Polish white, I'm also black, obviously black and Jamaican. And I'm really happy that I was able to travel back and forth from different families and really experience, and my dad as well, to obviously have an influence and tell me what it is, like what is the culture, what's it about, do you get me? Does that make sense? And in other words, if my dad wasn't at home either, and he wasn't living with us and he wasn't really involved in my life, I feel like my life would be very different, very, very different. And I think I'd be very uneducated about my background. So as for life experiences, I've been through a lot of ups and downs in terms of my race and ethnicity. Very much growing up, I'd be referred to as an Oreo, because I was just so uncultured on like my Jamaican side. And growing up, I literally made it my goal to just understand what it is, and I talked to my dad so much, and I feel like the more I knew, the more I grew, the more I felt myself, and the more I began to feel like my own person rather than what someone else would label me. And then after I talked to my dad, he educated me, talked to my black friends, they educated me. I feel like after that, and really getting to know who I am and my roots, and talking to my other Jamaican family, I feel after that, I definitely felt much more me, if that makes sense. On the other hand, though, I do believe there are a lot of mixed girls out there which are whitewashed and are quote-unquote Oreos, but I don't feel like they should be shamed for it, because there's nothing that they can do in a way. That's what they've been brought up with. That's what they're used to. So they don't necessarily know how to change. I feel like if you're going to call that I feel like if you're gonna call a mixed race girl a Oreo or whitewashed, whatever, straight up to her face, like, and you're black, like, fucking educate her. Like, don't just keep making fun of her, because at the end of the day, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, if you're black or if you're mixed and you're calling someone else whitewashed or an Oreo, educate them. Like, show them a different side, you know, a different perspective. I don't know if that makes sense. I think it does. In conclusion to that previous voice note, I don't think you should shame anyone until you've tried to educate them or show them a different side first. Like, don't come to them with one statement and then just finish. Like, say, you're whitewashed, you're an Oreo, joke, laugh about it, but this is how you can solve that problem. This is, let me show you a resolution. Feel more connected to one side, which side if yes. So yeah, definitely after being called an Oreo and whitewashed and uneducated, that's when I really did feel pressure to connect with my Jamaican side, my black ethnicity. And that's when I done research, I talked to people, and I really educated myself just so people couldn't chat shit about me after that. So yeah, I feel like that's when I was definitely pressured to feel more connected. But I am happy that people called me that, although it was like rude and I shouldn't have been shamed, and instead someone should have tried to help me, which they did, a few people did. But I'm happy they done that, because now I know about my background, I know about my family, I'm educated, I love my culture, both of my cultures, my Polish and my Jamaican, and I'm happy to finally feel like just myself, you know. I don't feel 100% Jamaican, don't feel 100% Polish, I feel right down the middle, which is exactly what I am, half Polish, half Jamaican. Lovely. On the other hand though, now actually it's happening, now growing up, when I'm becoming older and older, I feel like I'm not necessarily pressured, but I feel like I need to prove myself that I'm Polish to my family members, to my relatives that live in Poland. I feel like I've got to kind of prove myself, because if I was this white Caucasian girl with straight blonde hair, they wouldn't question me. But I can speak Polish fluently, I can read it, I can write it a little bit. I'm very shit at writing, but you know, I can read it. Like, I'm Polish. I've been brought up with the Polish culture for my whole life through my grandma. I know Polish food. I know everything there is to know about Poland. And I feel like I'm still having to prove myself to people. And it really pisses me off, because my family members will be like, at least on an average of once a month, will ask me, do you feel Polish? Are you Polish? Like, I literally got it today. Like, it's very annoying, because yes, I am fucking Polish. If you were a white English woman, if my mum was a white English woman, then no, I would not be Polish. If you did not speak Polish, then no, maybe I wouldn't feel Polish. But I am, and I feel like I shouldn't have to prove myself when it's in my fucking DNA that I am Polish. You know what I mean? But I feel like in some ways it's even worse having to like feel like I'm Polish, because it's my family, my own personal home family, that are asking me, do I feel Polish? Am I Polish? Whereas if it's with like friends, family, strangers, it's like, oh, okay, well, they don't know me. Like, who am I to have to prove myself to you? But when it's family asking you, it's like, okay, like, or even like Polish people, and they ask me, like total strangers, when I'm in Poland walking down the street, and they'll question whether I'm Polish. I get that. I totally get that, because I'm a black girl with curly hair. Like, I get it. Like, you're not going to suspect I'm Polish whatsoever. So, fine, I'll explain to you how I am Polish. But when it's your own family, it's very much different, because I don't feel like you should have to prove yourself to your family every second of the day, you know? Whereas, on the other hand, sorry, I know I'm ranting about this, I don't feel like, although I had to connect internally with the black side, I feel like no one could really tell me, like, apart from calling me an Oreo, because which is what I am, an Oreo, like literally an Oreo. I looked black on the outside, but I was white on the inside. So you'd have to kind of talk to me personally to know that I was kind of uneducated, and not as like when I was younger, and I was maybe like not as quote unquote black as I was supposed to be, because I was uneducated. Whereas on the outside, if I was a stranger to you, like, you wouldn't question that I was mixed, that I was Jamaican, that I was black, you know? You'd think, oh yeah, she's a Jamaican girl. Whereas with Poland, I have to kind of like prove myself internally, from within, let's say inside. I'd have to prove from within that I am Polish, because they couldn't see it on my face. So I'd have to speak it to them. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please tell me.